Hey y'all, what's good? It's me, Niels, and this is A Penny for Your Thoughts. Learning to trust yourself again is one of the hardest things to do, especially when you didn't lose that trust overnight. It was chipped away, slowly but surely, through moments where you were told you were too much, too sensitive, or overthinking. Moments where your intuition spoke and someone louder convinced you to ignore it. At some point, many of us stopped asking, "What do I think?" and started asking, "What should I think?" What would make them comfortable? What would avoid conflict? And what would keep the peace, even if it's at our own cost? And the wild part, we didn't even realize we were abandoning ourselves. We thought we were being mature, considerate, or loving. But self-betrayal doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like second guessing. And sometimes it looks like explaining yourself to people who never intended to understand you. And over time, you stop trusting your own voice because it's been overridden too many times. I used to believe that not trusting myself meant I lacked confidence, but it wasn't true. I trusted myself deeply as a child, instinctively and naturally. What I lost, it wasn't confidence. It was permission. Permission to believe myself without consensus. Permission to stand on my decisions without a jury. Permission to be wrong and still be worthy. Something nobody tells you. If you were raised in environments where your feelings were dismissed, your questions, they were discouraged, or your boundaries, they were seen as disrespect, you didn't grow up learning self-trust. You grew up learning self-doubt. Self-trust, it isn't just about making decisions. It's about believing that you can recover if you choose wrong, believing that you don't need everyone's agreement, believing to move forward. Rebuilding self-trust, it isn't loud. It doesn't happen in grand declarations. It happens quietly. When you say no and don't explain. When you honor a feeling instead of rationalizing it away. When you choose rest without justifying productivity. When you stop outsourcing your intuition to people who don't live your life. One of the most healing things I ever realized was this. I don't need to be certain to be honest. I just need to be present. Ta-da! Here I am. We often think self-trust means never doubting again, but it doesn't. It means you stop punishing yourself for being human. You stop turning every mistake into a character flaw. You stop rewriting your past with shame instead of compassion. You learn to say, I did the best I could with what I knew then. And you mean it. Here's the truth that changed everything for me. People who don't trust themselves tend to over-explain. People who trust themselves tend to pause. Silence becomes less scary when you're no longer afraid of your own thoughts. Trusting yourself again also means grieving. Grieving the versions of you that weren't protected. The times you knew better but felt unsafe acting on it. The moments where you abandon yourself to survive. That grief isn't weakness. It's honesty. And once you grieve, something shifts. You stop chasing validation. You stop rehearsing conversations that never happened. You stop needing closure from people who couldn't meet you where you were. Because your relationship with yourself becomes enough. Self-trust doesn't make life easier. It makes it clearer. You see red flags faster, you exit situations sooner, you rest without guilt, and you move without apology. And yes, some people won't like the version of you that no longer needs permission. That's okay. They benefited from your doubt. Learning to trust yourself again isn't about becoming fearless. It's about becoming loyal. Loyal to your inner knowing. Loyal to your nervous system. Loyal to the version of you that kept going even when you were unsure. If you are in a season where you're rebuilding that trust, go slow. Speak kindly to yourself. Celebrate small decisions. Honor your yes and your no. You are not broken. You're remembering. And now that I've said what I needed to be said, if it resonated with you, sit with it. If it didn't, you're free to leave it at the door. I'm not here to persuade, only to speak honest. And that's my 2 cents. A penny for your thoughts.